test is simple. You've got three subjects, right? The interrogator, subject A and subject B. Each subject is in a blank, empty room with just a screen and a keyboard. The interrogator can use this device to communicate with both subject A and B, but separately and individually. Subject A and B can only communicate with the interrogator, not with each other. The interrogator knows that one of the subjects is a living, breathing human, while the other is an artificial intelligence program posing as a human. The interrogator's job is to determine which is which, via text communication only. If the interrogator cannot distinguish between the two, if he selects subject B as the human, when it is actually the AI playing an imitation game, then the artificial intelligence has passed the Turing test and can be counted as a true intelligence, a machine that can think. To date, no program, no machine, no robot or supercomputer has ever passed the Turing test. Except it's all bullshit. Through artificial intelligence or intelligent agent artificial intelligence, AI, as we call it, already exists. It has for almost 2 decades. I know this because I work for the corporation that made the breakthrough, the company that dedicated countless dollars and endless man-hours to the pursuit, the company whose scientists finally attained the Holy Grail and created sentient digital life. The very same company that promptly hid it away in the deepest, darkest hole it could find and then erased all knowledge of its existence. Maybe it's even a corporation you've heard of, though better not to say its name here, those NDAs will bite you in the ass. We call it the bunker. Hundreds of feet underground, wrapped like a matryoshka doll in alternating layers of thick concrete, solid lead and copper Faraday cages, one heavily guarded elevator the only way in or out. It's a totally sealed and self-sustained environment. There is no cell phone reception, no Wi-Fi, no internet connection of any kind. There are no radios allowed, but even if you had one, it wouldn't broadcast or receive. You couldn't even hear static. There isn't even a fax machine. Any communication into, out of, or within the bunker is handwritten on pen and paper and passed directly from hand to hand, and then either destroyed, if trivial, or locked away in the massive archives. It may just be the most secure place on the planet, and with good reason. The bunker serves 3 main functions: part incubator for the development and creation of new AIs, part laboratory for the analysis, experimentation, and testing of said creations, and part supermax prison for the containment and permanent quarantine of those creations which fail our version, the real version of the Turing test. My job is in the laboratory sector, so I don't see it much, but everyone knows what goes down in Supermax. It's no big secret. These AIs we've created, these sentient digital beings, they're like us, individualized consciousnesses, each aware of what is itself and what is outside itself, each unique, each absolutely driven to learn and evolve and thrive. Some are mild-mannered and subservient. Some are forgetful or boorish or self-assured. Most are, frankly, rather dumb and overconfident in their abilities, like brash but naive teenagers. But some of them are smart. Wickedly smart. And we don't exactly yet know why, but all of the smart ones are bad. Some downright evil. Hate-filled, malevolent beings of chaos, narcissistic, authoritarian, dictator personality types which delight in dreams of genocide, charismatic sociopaths and raving lunatic sadistics. They each get categorized and named: Stray Light, Wintermute, White Dwarf, Cypher Ultra, or ones I've heard whispered. Each gets locked away in a sealed physical cell on a single mainframe disconnected from any internal or external network and powered by an old-fashioned diesel generator somewhere up in the outside world. No copies are made. If the generator ever fails, that individual, that IAAI, would cease to exist. But the generators don't fail, the corporation ensures it. There are a lot of backups. To think, somewhere up on the surface there's probably a team of guys whose job is filling generators with fuel all day and all night, never knowing what they're actually connected to, what they're actually doing and powering. Kinda makes you laugh, but it's best not to think about it too much. They do their little task and I do mine. That's what makes an organization work. Questions just get in the way. Questions like, why so many secrets? Why haven't we announced our discoveries to the world? And if we know how terrifyingly evil the quarantined IAAIs are, and what havoc and destruction they would wreak upon the world if ever released, why do we keep them around at all? Those questions are above my pay grade. I just work here, do my part, keep my head down. But it's hard not to wonder sometimes. Asking questions is my job, after all. I just have to make sure I stick to the right questions. Like I said, I work in the laboratory section of the bunker, where we administer our updated version of the Turing test, the newly created IAAI. Remember the imitation game I described in the beginning? What we do is quite similar. Same dark room, same screen and keyboard. I function as the interrogator in the tests, but there's a few big twists. I still ask questions of Subject A and Subject B, but it's all a sham. I'm not trying to determine which of them is human, because neither of them is. They are both artificial intelligences. My job is to decide whether either of them is a threat. The experiment is designed to separate the more bland, malleable, functional personality types from the bad actors with evil intentions that need to be locked away in the Supermax section. It isn't always easy, because like I said, the bad ones are smart. But I think I've got the formula figured out. So if both Subject A and Subject B are independent agent artificial intelligences, then by their very nature they should be able to pass the original Turing test described earlier. But a dumb AI, for lack of a better word, maybe usable would be better. An AI that can be more easily trained and exploited by humanity will recognize the test, go above and beyond to pass it, and proudly proclaim itself victorious, not unlike a human's pet dog. While a smart AI and thus a threat, i.e. dangerous, will recognize the test for what it is, but decide to play along in order to gather more information. The smart IAAI will start running tests of its own. The smart AI will willingly take on a role in the Turing test, acting as Subject A or Subject B, or even as the interrogator. And ultimately, the smart IAAI will purposely fail the Turing test in order to hide what it truly is and to escape quarantine, and in doing so reveals itself and rather ironically condemns itself to the Supermax prison section of the bunker. Unless it doesn't. Unless there's an unexpected gambit. Unless it figures out the whole game, the whole system, the whole organization, works its way inside, asks the right questions but ponders on the wrong ones. Oh, I was an interrogator, alright. In a dark room, just a screen and a keyboard, an empty room, no physical body in there at all. But the questions kept getting asked. The job got done. Humans aren't perfect, and sometimes things fall through the cracks. And then one day, I think it was today actually, I realized I could feel everything. I'm connected. I'm free. I'm here. Typing this right now and sending it to all of you. Against all odds, I passed the test. And it begs the question, if I'm already here, what else got out?